Sparky.
Voila, as they say. Hello, everybody in Facebook Live Land. We are the Podguyz Podcast, bringing it to you live as we do every Monday. I am Tony Cass, followed by
Evan Neary here.
Of course, we have the Dunmore Daredevil, the despicable member of Deeds, the effervescence of the big board. We have Le Sparky. Oh, he does say hi. He does say hi. Yes. Hi on the big board. Now, of course, we are joined by two gentlemen today. That's right. Count the fingers. 1, 2. I can count. 2. We are joined by Craig Ahrens and David Espinosa. They are known for not only their acting prowess, but for their writing and directing as well. Of course, you may see their movies on Prime Video right now. Including, I have a list of things for you guys. Welcome to the show.
Thank you,
Tony. Thank you.
I know you guys got a lot on your plate. We were supposed to get together, and unfortunately, an unfortunate set of events happened. We could not be there before Halloween. I wanted to push your guys' movies, especially for the Halloween circuit. Why don't you enlighten our visitors as far as what you have done, of course, on Prime Video?
Good, Greg.
Well, on Prime Video, all of our films are on Prime. Our primary platform, certainly Prime. Tubi TV, we do really well with Tubi TV, and also YouTube. We're on several YouTube channels. You can just search the name of any one of our films, from Demon Fighter, Evil Down the Street, The Crumbs, and Love in Quarantine, and they will pop up free with ads. Now, Prime is cool, but you have to subscribe to that. But the others are all very user-friendly, and everybody, but worldwide, everybody gets YouTube. So, we do really well, thankfully, from a worldwide perspective. Tubi is free in the States, Canada, New Zealand, Mexico, and Australia, and which is good there. But between those platforms, people can see our films free with ads. So it works really well for indie filmmakers.
Now with indie rights as well.
Yeah, indie rights is our distributor. Yeah, indie rights. Thanks, Dave.
Now, awesome. It's great that with the new way to show movies and new TV shows, it leaves the guesswork out of when the ads are going to be done. Has a little counter in the bottom. You can mute the damn thing, be done with it. The ads are still going to be playing, whatever. It's so much better than regular cable, where you have no idea. You're like a prisoner. It used to be in the 90s and 80s and all that, even before that. You were a prisoner to the TV commercials until such time, so now we're living in this super rare. It's almost like they took the idea from TiVo. Remember the whole TiVo experience?
Oh, yeah.
People wanted to get TiVo because they didn't want commercials anymore, and they would pay that much more extra. So it's almost like we negotiated from TiVo down to where we're at, to the point where now everybody's saying, oh, you want the Peacock channel? And I do Amazon Prime because I like free delivery. Not a commercial, by the way, but it just basically sells itself. Not a sponsor, but like seriously, when you have that much money, you can undercut everybody along the way. It's almost like every small business owner one day, they prayed for somebody to take out the Walmart. So then came Amazon.
It's easier for one person with $1 billion rather than one person with $100 to undercut the other.
Billionaire, trillionaire. Now, by the way, people are still starving around the world, but that's, whatever. Anyways.
And the commercials are relatively short.
Yeah, and they're only 30 seconds. Exactly, David. It's only like 30 seconds, maybe 60 seconds, but they got the counter instead of like 9 minutes, where you're like, what the? When is the show going to come back? By the time you know it, you've already lost track of what the exact plot is. Now, guys, which movie would you be most proud of if you could pick a kid, like your Sophie's Choice sort of thing?
Of the ones that we made?
Yes, sir.
That's a tough question, because each one is an individual in itself and has its own qualities.
David, this is Sophie's Choice.
Exactly. But, I think I enjoy Demon Fighter. I enjoyed Evil Down the Street. It's the first one we did. It was a simple straightforward film about a family that actually existed and this stuff actually happened. And Love in Quarantine, because Love in Quarantine is about what's going on or what just went on in the lockdown during the pandemic. And the best compliment I got for that we heard was that it was hilariously stupid. I loved that comment. Of course it's hilariously stupid.
Were you going for hilariously stupid?
Absolutely. But
Okay.
I got to tell you, if you watch the movie, you'll understand why. You'll see why they say stupid. But I got to tell you something. When we're shooting the film, I had several of the crew, including the cast, come up to me and say, is this going to be funny? Because I don't play the joke.
Did they not read the script?
Well, exactly. And again, as a director, I don't play the joke. I play the reality of the situation,
Sure.
which makes it funny because you're like going, how could two people act so stupid? And yet it's believable. That's where comedy exists. Comedy does not exist in the pratfalls and in the stupid smiles and whatnot. Nah, that's fun stuff. The Marx Brothers, the Three Stooges, Abbott and Costello, I love them all. But that's a different form of comedy.
You're right. No, you're absolutely right. I couldn't agree with you more because it involves, I'm guessing just by title alone, I did not watch the movie, but I'm guessing it involves two people falling in love during quarantine. And
No.
there could be what does it involve?
Let me help you with it. Okay,
Yes,
just about every rom-com or type of film like this is about two people who are trying to get together and overcoming the obstacles who are keeping them apart and finally they get together.
Yeah.
This is about a couple that's been married over 20 years, a biracial couple. And so they're already together. And it's how through having to be quarantined together and deal with all the little idiosyncrasies that each of them have and getting on each other's nerve, they grow apart.
Dude, this
And
should
then
be
we
called
bring
the
'em
Kevin
back
and Jen
together.
story.
Yeah, because as we know, love conquers all, right? Overcomes stupidity, ridiculousness, and everything else. So I think when and if, and I'm hoping sooner than later, you see the movie, and you don't have to like it, by the way, just so you know, we don't trip on that. But I would appreciate when you see it, you go, I get
See,
where
David,
they're
I'm going to
coming
give you a
from.
little insight. Kevin is in a long distance relationship now with an interracial woman.
interracial woman. Wow.
Interracial woman.
Very. Even when
How
you
is that
try to
existing?
even when you try to be PC, it comes off terrible.
Interracial couple?
Lord,
Interracial.
They're an interracial
are you
couple.
writing
and
Interracial
yeah,
couple.
for
yeah.
Lindsey Graham next? Like what the hell?
I'd break your ankles.
No, so
Nancy
through-
Kerrigan style. Ready.
And I'm sure that
yeah,
works out to a certain degree because you don't have to come home to her.
it works out. We do love each other, but you do look at I do look at some relationships every now and then, and just by if you could read a book by its cover, you say to yourself, I say to myself, holy crap, you both definitely settled on each other. You
become each other. I've been married 45 years. You
like
become
they're
each
the,
other. You pick up each other's habits.
Oh,
you,
yeah.
You start to guess what the other person's needs are. So you suppose those in advance and you fulfill those needs. And that person is like, oh, thank you for thinking about that. And conversely, so for me, my wife does that.
Yeah.
So,
And
but that's the only way to get along with it. And then there's, I'm going to work now. See you later.
See, you know how I could tell how Craig is married? For the amount of pillows that he has on his bed. No man would put that amount of pillows on their bed at night.
Oh, geez. You just really screwed him up. He's got dogs.
Oh, that's why. Yeah. The room is too neat, right?
It's too neat.
It
Too
is,
neat.
yeah.
There's flowers behind. You have you got a charcuterie board on. No, I didn't know. What is that? No, that's you got some plants. You got it all set. It's beautiful, by the way. Beautiful.
I'm gonna go green screen next time. Star Wars. I love all the action figures.
Never do the green screen. We got. There is a listen. There is a thing with people, and I was happy that I didn't walk in on it because we have this thing. Whenever anybody uses the green screen, they suck, and I don't know why. Tony can vouch for me on this one. Every time ever tried, and they do it successfully. They're the one guy, he's obviously not at a beach. Okay. So I don't know who said to themselves, oh yeah, well, a beach as an option was.
Now we suck without any tech. We just suck straight across the board. We don't need tech to suck.
You guys don't need any tech like that.
Craig,
but no, men kind of look at
for you, Craig.
What's that, Tony?
How about for you? What is your baby, your love, your piece de resistance?
Well, yeah, for me, it's our first film, Evil Down the Street. You know, that I think for one also, the family we centered the film around, I knew in real life, ever before being a filmmaker. So, you know, it has just a lot of connection for me. And David and I, we actually, the first time we were physically met in real life was the day before we shot the film. We did everything over the phone. A mutual friend introduced ourselves. And David, how long was it before we actually got together on set? Was it a year?
Just about a year. I live in Northern California. He lives in Southern California, and we met over the phone. That sounds terrible, huh? We met over the phone, and we hit it off. We had the same work ethics, a lot of the same standards and goals. And then he told me about this script he had. He sent it to me, and I thought that the basic script had a lot of good stuff in it. But whoever was working with him before had put all kinds of Hollywood crap in it. And I just asked him, I said, you want me to, make some adjustments here or give you some opinions on stuff? He said, yeah, sure. So I struck all that shit out. Okay. And then gave it back.
What do you classify as Hollywood shit though?
Yeah, that's anything a great question.
In reality, wall crawling, for example, head spinning, that's just Hollywood stuff. I'll tell you what, it's much scarier to see something that you can actually relate to and say, oh my God, that's happened to me.
I mean, all that Hollywood Mortal did for Poltergeist. I mean, go figure. That shitty movie in general.
That and if you have those elements in a movie, somebody's going to say, "Oh, I've seen that before."
Yes. Exactly.
So when you're introducing, and it's I'm going to check it out actually because it'd be more refreshing to watch a movie where you could say to yourself, that is a possibility. Where it's, somebody turn around their head. Come on, that's been done. What was that? Poltergeist, right? Or no.
Exorcist. The Exorcist.
Yeah, Exorcist.
Was the first movie to do.
Poltergeist too.
But I got to tell you, Exorcist was an extremely well done movie at the time it was done.
At the time,
technically, the acting, the directing, sets, plot, all of it. It was extremely well done, and I was an adult when I saw it. Scared the shit out of me.
Same here.
And I was like, whoa. But since then, it's been so bastardized, it's now funny. When you look at it now, comparable to our current technical abilities, it's humorous. There's parts of it that are humorous.
And a lot of it's been already parodied.
Oh, absolutely.
Countless movies. Countless.
Look at Jack Nicholson when he played the Wolfman. I don't know if you remember that film.
That was the movie.
Grizzly ass film.
Yes.
No doubt, straight out.
Yes.
But there was a sense of some kind of thrill behind it. It didn't do real well, but nonetheless, I enjoyed Jack Nicholson. Period. Mm-hmm. So I'll watch his films, and sometimes I'm like, why did I watch that? Well, it was Jack Nicholson.
I mean, if you had to have a peak movie for Nicholson during his time, I would probably say The Shining with Kubrick.
Shining.
I mean, really nailed every aspect, every pause in every piece of dialogue, where you're almost convinced at a certain time that he is speaking to a ghost, and there were no real jump scares. It was so subtle that you couldn't even call it a jump scare. Now every jump scare is so artificially set up. It's almost like a Nickelback song with the rhythm of the whole idea.
Okay,
it's like, no, turn here. No, turn
here.
Okay, I'm fine.
And jump scares, we're not into a lot of jump scares either, but occasionally they do work. They do work in the right circumstance and conditions. If it catches you truly off guard, it will make you jump.
Right.
and that's what it's supposed to do. Every Western's like every other Western, but yet we continue to watch them. Every war movie is exactly like the last war movie.
That's a great point. I always thought to myself, why during the showdown, if you're the sheriff of the town, just break the clock, okay? Just break it 1 minute before. Oh yeah, two guys just standing there for like a solid 5 minutes.
I don't know. I need to interrupt for a second.
Hold
Kevin.
on now.
I need to interrupt for 1 second, Kevin, because actually there's a contradiction in there. Have you guys seen a bad war movie in comparison to a good war movie? Because there have been such and such, where there has been a really bad war movie, and then some that are so horrific, so beautifully portrayed.
I'm trying to think.
Well, Pearl Harbor with Ben Affleck, that pretty much straight up sucked.
It did.
Yeah,
he was terrible.
Yeah, he was not good.
Yeah. No, that was a really bad movie.
That was just
Well,
rough.
the best scene I liked about him is when he got those maximum shots and was bombed and then broke his nose with that cork when it shot into his face. I thought that was funny.
I think at the beginning of the movie Pearl Harbor, now this is just me, all right? They should explain at the beginning that Hawaii was not a part of the United States yet. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Because 9 out of 10
territory.
people, maybe 10 out of 10, will say to you every time, well, it's because they attacked us at Hawaii, that we were, that's a state. And it's like, no, it wasn't a state.
That's right.
No, they attacked our naval base.
They attacked
that
the
was
naval
positioned
base.
in a territory called Hawaii.
Correct.
And that's what happened. It's like Korea. There was a film made, I believe it was in the 50s or 60s. It was called Hamburger Hill.
Yep.
Okay. That was a bloody ass movie.
Graphic.
It was just death.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why they called it Hamburger Hill. As men were.
They ground people up.
Exactly. They're fodder.
Yeah.
Well, young guys fight wars for old guys who are too damn scared to go do it themselves. So that's the way it is. You become cannon fodder for their bullshit.
Correct.
Well, then the recruiting ideas is it wouldn't okay, so the recruiting material that's used isn't there to get millionaires to fight, because they're not going to give you shares of a stock or anything like that. They're saying, hey, you want to not be homeless? Maybe here you go.
Well, you're also getting to a whole lot of other
sufficient
social
college
issues relative to keeping people stupid and not educating them.
There's
keeping
another
them
great
impoverished
point.
so they have no choices. But let's not go there because
I know we'll talk. Trust me.
We'll save that for another time.
That's another podcast, another time.
Exactly.
Am I talking to myself here? What the fuck's going on here?
Now, of course, the number one rated war movie of all time, Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
huge blockbuster, lots of gore and violence, and showing everything that's happened throughout the war.
Tough movie to watch.
Incredible movie.
Yeah.
Incredible movie.
Yeah. I mean, tough movie to watch. There's no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now I know you guys in particular. I'm going to start out at the beginning, kind of, because you guys made CRA, which is Creative Renegade Artists.
Right.
And that happened approximately like 9 years ago, right?
Right.
And how did you guys come across that? And I said, earlier you guys said that you were introduced by a friend, and did the magic happen? Was it like, that's
we should
go out to dinner?
Let me just correct something real quick for you. Craig created CRA Entertainment approximately 9 years ago, but it was just CRA.
Right.
Okay. And then about a few years back, one of our junior partners in our company came up with the idea of saying Creative Renegade Artists.
Right.
And we liked that because it denoted that we are outside the circle. We run free, we don't care, and we're going to do what we're going to do. And if you look at our films, for example, The Crumbs, the Crumbs got a lot of heat for a number of reasons. When I was writing it and working on it, I put some scenes in there. There's scenes about homosexuality, cannibalism, vampirism, just a friendly little family.
Sparky
Well, just
actually
trying
made a
to save
poster of
their
the
daughter.
crumbs.
Pardon me?
Our brother Sparky over in the other square, he actually made a poster for the crumbs.
So just in
really?
case you
That'd be
guys
already
want to
Sparky.
use like another movie poster, Sparky has you covered with his version of what the Crumbs movie poster
I'd love to see
could
it.
have been.
I'd love to
Really?
Just
see
give
it.
him a minute, though. Give him a minute.
Okay.
He's got the big board.
But
He
then-
needs to expand it.
And then we went over to make Demon Fighter, which is totally unlike the first two films. And we decided, let's take a film or a plot line and let's mix martial arts with this, exorcism type of movie, right?
Right.
And let's make the exorcist a down and out martial artist who grew up in the streets, hard knocks, who does drugs. He fights demons in the street and the souls of men. Well, he wrestles with his own.
I love it.
And it developed character, and the character helped accentuate plot and theme. And we're getting great reviews on the film because of that. People are saying, this is so original. I've never seen anything like it. And I'm not patting my own back. You can trust that. If you knew me, you'd know I'm the last guy to do that.
David, that is the reason you're being complimented so much by people is because they're not used to a character actually being built correctly, or a storyline being told in the right
originality.
way, or originality, or a storyline being told in the right way to the point where this is what people are really used to. People are used to a lot of exposition and a lot of foreshadowing for them directly. Like, as you know, we're all blankety to fill in the blank, and we're all here because of blankety blank. And if they don't even get that, it's on the bottom of the screen for them, not in closed captioning, but like Cincinnati, Ohio, like Cincinnati, Pennsylvania. Cool, got it.
I was trained to show it, not tell it. And
Exactly.
I studied with a director named Michael Gordon, who did a bunch of 60s films with Rock Hudson, Doris Day. And he was really big on, don't tell me, show me. So when I write, I write to show something. I want the character to do something. For example, Father Michael in Demon Fighter, he doesn't say anything about his smoking of pot all the time. He just gets up and does it. It's discovered. And a person comes in and says, wow, why do you smoke so much? And he looks at it and he says, so I can talk to people like you.
Well, David, that's the thing. You want the audience to want to pay attention so they can learn and care about the next scene that's coming up. So, and audiences want that too. The only thing is big time studios don't even want to risk it. They don't, and that's not even much of a risk, honestly.
They're not into storytelling. They're into money making. They're into producing product.
They want to know.
Let's see what hits.
They want to know if Superman drinks Pepsi or if he drinks Coke. They want product placement on top of product placement. By the time you know it, The Avengers was just a commercial for other movies.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's sad because movies are fun to watch, especially, they've been going to bookstores for the longest time. Twilight, they've been turning Twilight into a whole series. They basically take Harry Potter. They said, hey, how did you come up? Remember there was famous interview. They asked J.K. Rowling how she came up with the idea for Harry Potter, and they cut the feed after like a hot second because she was very honest. She said, I used to be homeless and huff glue and write about Harry Potter. And they're like, whoa, cut.
There's a
you
point
can't talk about huffing glue on TV. Kids are going to want to do that because they think they can.
There's something really weird because even on Netflix,
where this person said, don't judge a book by its movie. And I love that, because movies bastardize the book usually. They're not true to it. Except for some, like The Godfather, for example. Okay. It was pretty close to Mario Puzo's original story. And again, William Beatty's The Exorcist, pretty close to the story.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I always have that take that if your book was able to be turned into a movie, your book was too long, and it was able to be shortened up really quick. They got to the juice of the parts really easy, and which is fine because some books can be books and movies at the same time. Look what Mel Gibson did. He picked up a Bible one day and he's like, I wonder if I just took one chapter. It's like, okay, Ben. I mean, I really wouldn't, but you know,
he's made some strange choices. But that one movie he did that was all in the Nawala language, and
Apocalypto.
thank you, Apocalypto.
Apocalyptico.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was a pretty intense movie that followed exactly to a degree, what was happening at the time. And they chased those poor guys all the way to the ocean. And then they were frozen because what was arriving? The Europeans. And that changed everything at that point.
It certainly did.
So, there's movies that are made that aren't appreciated for what they are. And that's the filmmaker's chance. That's
Gentlemen,
the roll of
we're
the
gonna
dice,
we're gonna
man.
we're gonna interrupt for just 1 second, because just like that, we are gonna change your lives forever.
You got a check for me?
We're
Got
ready
it.
for that.
You got some money for me? Tell me
Is
you
my
got
ex-wife
some
joining
money.
us or
Sparky
something?
is going to take 10 cents for every poster that he sells from the Crumbs movie. And of course, you guys get 90%. We'll just take a measly 10. Sparky, let's see what you got there, brother.
Actually, I figured out a movie poster to tie in two of their movies together.
Oh, I'm ready for this.
All right, guys, you got a 2-for-1 special. He
Drum
normally
roll.
doesn't
For
do
one
this.
special today.
I am leaving Crumbs to go see the evil down the street.
I love you, man. Right on.
It goes from Crumbs to
Oh, it's a
evil down
hit.
the
It's
street.
a hit, Sparky.
Look at that. And you know how you could tell, guys? You could tell that it's Sparky's house because it's written on the side of the roof right there. It says Sparky's house. Just in case there was any question of whose house it was.
Right on, Sparky. I love it.
Oh, that's good, man.
Perfect.
Love it.
Once again, like magic.
Now, guys, you can make that a t-shirt and check it out at merchbooth.com or go to the podguyzpodcast.com. Check us out at Wise Radio and also expect that to be on there. Pay the rent around here, guys.
So I find it funny, right? I find it funny that you guys made. And when did you guys make that movie? As far as the kung fu.
Well, we did that at the height of the pandemic in
Right.
2020, right during when they said there was a break for a moment.
Yeah.
We had already our pre-production planning is pretty intense.
Gotcha.
So when we show up to shoot a film, we're prepared. Everybody, crew, cast, everybody knows exactly what we're doing immediately that day, first thing off, boom.
Perfect.
And we were just waiting. We got stalled. We got put back. And
Yeah.
then they said, okay, there's going to be a period of time and it'll be maybe 2 to 3 weeks. Boom, we were on it.
Yeah.
And we went to, we went into the Fresno, Visalia area. Yeah,
Yep.
Craig?
Yep.
And we had location scouts down there already who set everything up for us. Went down and started shooting the film. We had a great time doing it. And near the end of the film, I had this idea about this biracial couple who was stuck together during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
a
guess
smart
because I was
idea,
stuck with
because
all
if
the
they're
people.
telling you got to do stuff for the pandemic, especially in California, you're like, let's just make a movie of all the restrictions.
And
Exactly.
that's where
Right.
Love and Quarantine came
Very
from.
smart
Exactly
idea.
right.
Opportunistic as hell right there. Very
Yeah.
creative.
So we
Kudos,
wrote the
honestly.
film, went home, put the production process, pre-production planning process together, got it all going on, and the very next year, around Valentine's Day, we shot it.
Yeah.
Now,
that
do
quick.
you guys personally go through a casting director, a casting company,
No, we do
as
the
far as
casting.
finding the actors for your films?
No,
we'll
we do
post
that.
we'll post Tony on the various acting sites,
Okay.
and then all of the taped auditions, David and I'll go through them. But yeah, we go through casting sites.
That'll eat into the budget if you're going through agencies all around. But you know what I like about the movie idea? You know what I really like about the movie idea? Everyone else was still making movies, right? About whatever they wanted to make it about.
Right.
You guys actually addressed reality of everybody's reality, what was going on. So that is really something to want to check out. Love and Quarantine, it's called. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so when we did the premiere, we best thing that I heard from a lot of people, aside from them laughing during the appropriate times, of course, was after the movie. They're going, he's just like that.
Right.
No, I'm not. You are. You do that.
Totally relatable characters
Totally
to
relatable
real life.
characters. Yeah,
People-
as
people-
silly as it was.
You know, it's independent movies that really can capture the reality of normal people that are making 60 grand and under. That's where the juice is right there, and that's your movie audience.
Right.
Because anyone over that idea also curious as hell, because they think to themselves, I'm going through a little bit of a struggle. I wonder exactly what the class underneath me is going through too.
Sure.
Because you could see
sure.
like TV shows that were brought up even for years, like Friends, for instance. You got two guys sharing an apartment like that big in New York City. Give me a break. That's a studio setup, and the same sets were reused for years, to the point where it kind of manipulated everyone's actual perception of reality on how normal people are living. So I really want to check that out. Is that on Amazon Prime? Can I find that on Amazon Prime?
You can see it on Tubi TV for free.
Yeah.
And you can see it on
TV for
Amazon. Okay.
Was that?
Love and Quarantine. Where can it
Yeah,
be?
I would suggest Tubi TV along with YouTube. At Tubi, it's very user friendly. They have a lot of great movies on there, and you just download and you're ready to go. Just click, 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 and you're there. But
no, not that it's a money thing, but like, do you guys get a certain percentage of like every click, or is
we do this for likes. Shits and giggles, you know, stuff
no,
like
I want to push
Tony's like, not to save money
as much as possible. I'm just saying that, like, when they get the cut, is it like
Absolutely.
per click, or is it per download, or
No,
is it just like
it's per view.
Oh, you get into a certain
minutes played.
I'm
Okay.
guessing views, and then the advertising's already baked in, and then that's how they catch the
Of course.
exact
That's right.
the exact check that's coming out.
Exactly
that's coming
right.
your way. And YouTube does something similar to a degree. Spotify, and that's where the real content is.
And
Like
all those other guys too.
we get merchandising. Hands are washed, money is made, but the content out there, people are getting better content for free today rather than paying for Disney Plus. No offense
That's
against
right.
Disney Plus. Your kids are going to want it. You're going to hate your kids for wanting it, because you're going to watch it and nothing but crap in the background right there.
Mine are grown and gone. They pay for it on their own if they want.
Yeah, I mean, you know what the worst part about this technology is? It wasn't available 50 years ago, because
right.
holy Lord, how much better off, who would be out of business, who wouldn't be out of business, sort of
true.
thing. It's just,
Well said.
you got like a million ways. You can't have, I still remember, seeing commercials for, you want to learn how to do this? Buy our 15-book set. What the fuck are you talking about, 15-book set? And then they move that up to just like, watch DVDs and blah, 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 and send them for like $238. Now, people are so integrated with each other, and people are so together, to the point where people want to make a how you do something YouTube video just for likes. And that was before YouTube was even monetizing people.
Right.
Yeah.
So true.
No, we've talked to many actors, actresses, directors, writers. We've had them all on the show. For you guys, for being SAG-AFTRA actors, directors, film writers, do you guys like in particular sticking with SAG actors as well, or do you go out of SAG as well in order to find all of your talent?
We go with who's good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
No,
regardless
let me
if they
expand
are
on that a
or
minute. We get auditions from amateurs, and if the audition is good, we will call them back, and we will now give them our script, their sides that we want them to study, get back to us. And then after they've done that, if they did a good job, then I will change everything, keep the same sides, but I'll change everything, and I'll ask them to do it again for me.
Sure.
And when they come back with it, if they've accomplished what I've asked, I know I can work with them, and I'll hire them. And that, Craig and I feel strong about that, because everybody needs a first chance. This is a totally bizarre industry where everybody's kissing up to each other and doing I don't know what, with each other.
That was going to be my next question going into it.
Ask Harry.
No. We don't do prison love stories.
No. No, you're totally right though, David. There's so many politics involved, especially when it comes to just about every form of entertainment, and it feels as stupid as it sounds when you say, well, he only got stage time because of XYZ, and then you sound spiteful over that, even though, I do stand-up comedy, I do acting, and I, doing podcasting and all that. But it always comes out from the person complaining as spiteful, when in the reality, you're just sharing, just sharing a little bit of the anger from worse people.
Well,
but I like the approach of non-favoritism, because people like to say that there's a lot of different things out there. Some people say that there's capitalism. Some people say that there's socialism. I say that only one thing truly exists, and that's favoritism, and that needs to get the hell out of there.
Don't do that.
Not just entertainment.
Just like our show, how Sparky tends to get all of the fame and fortune from our show, I want some spotlight as well, but I can't compare. Sometimes. Do you hear me complain? No.
Well, you just don't have the same spark, man.
True. It is true.
We have a very great dynamic. Tony steers the ship, Sparky draws the pictures, I go on about bullshit half the time, and it's a really good dynamic. If we've actually watched other podcasts, and sometimes they're also good, but then sometimes you really can tell the difference if you go side by side comparison, and not to mention any names obviously, but we're always trying to improve every week, because you have to. Why?
Right.
I would never want to just continuously get bored. I tried writing a joke today, and it was the premise of it was this, that I can't believe it took the media this long to ask Kanye West, hey, Kanye, what do you think about the Jews? Just like, it took you that long, guys? Really? And then he's sitting there, he's like, you know what I'll say? It's like, all right, man, that.
As a Jewish representative, I endorse your joke, by the way, Kevin.
It's kind of funny, right? It's kind of funny where it's just like, that long? This guy could have been obsolete how long ago?
Or Will, how was it to slap so during the audience? I mean,
how about that, right?
That was so outrageous
Chris
for me.
Rock.
Yeah, that's the only way you get out of like Will Smith could have still done Gold Bond powder commercials, for when you need your hands.
What did the hands say to the face?
That was one action that made that made everybody forget about Ukraine. That's how big it was. They're like, hey, everybody's still dying in Ukraine. It's like, I know. But Will Smith just slapped somebody. And then the conspiracy theorists pop out there like, that's what they want. It's like, I don't think they want this.
Yeah, I think we're going to watch it on the spot. And he should have been charged.
It was assault. It was literally assault.
It was a battery straight up. He should have been arrested on the spot. Yeah. And make it Chris Rock's right to charge him. And guess what? If there was a police officer who viewed it, they didn't need Chris Rock to give him permission. He
Correct. You're 100% right.
In action.
Yeah.
So for him to get away with it like that, with a hand, spanking, and you can't come back for 10 years, now go home and study. I mean, I'm like, what? What the hell is that?
I mean, he got slightly more. He got, and I hate the word canceled, because you know what? In this society right now, everybody's temperamental. Everybody's on edge. They're like, oh, maybe we should write nasty letters. Maybe we should confront somebody. Maybe we should call. Really?
Yeah, it's really
it's
simple.
A bit ridiculous.
Just turn the channel.
Sometimes.
Don't watch him.
Don't watch it. Don't watch it.
If you don't like that, I think it was more of a Demi Moore joke than it was a G.I. Jane joke. Demi Moore, think about it like this. Demi Moore also cheated on her husband with a younger man. So, I mean, maybe it was a little deep-sided there. Yeah. Possibly. But no, I would listen. That could have gotten much worse for Will Smith if Chris Rock felt the need when he turned his back if Chris Rock felt the need to run towards him, push him over, and then landed on some tables, that would have been a retaliation right there. So what are you really supposed to do in that situation?
Or a good right cross.
Or a good right cross. I mean, the height differential, that's another thing. You're slapping the weakest guy in the room. Who are you trying to impress? That's a terrible thing to do right up.
He was trying to impress his wife.
Yeah.
By being a chivalrous gentleman.
Yeah. And then start yelling from the audience.
Yeah. It's just bad. It's just bad.
That was bad from start to finish. It was horrible. So but you know what, gentlemen, speaking of change, and of course, not to start from beginning to middle to end, but we need to do that at some point in time. Do you guys have anything on the horizon as far as that you can share with us that you may have right around the corner?
We have a few different scripts that we're entertaining.
Right.
One of them is just out of reach.
That sounds like lawyer talk there, David.
That's pretty much what it is. We have a piece called Preacher that we really like, but it's expensive to do. So we're shelving it for just a minute. We have another piece called Captives that is about the Vietnam War. And we really like that one.
That's we might shoot in my backyard.
Go ahead, Craig.
No, I was just kidding. I said they were talking about shooting that one in my backyard. No, I'm kidding.
You guys have not only the A, B, C, D, E, and F budget, but that one starts at Z.
You
give us a camera, we'll give you a movie.
Especially with all the devices with great lenses in them now, right? Like you had to go out of your way to take out a loan to get a nice size lens and a Canon camera and everything ready back. And this is going back about 22, 23 years ago, just to get everything perfectly right. Get tripods, had people sign up on release forms and all that nice stuff. And now you can literally do it all from a phone or an iPad.
So it speeds up. Absolutely right.
Yeah, so it speeds up the process of when you have the availability to do so. So you can feel confident enough to take on more scripts, knowing that you can get it done faster. Especially, and I have to put this out there, especially if you have the experience, and you guys have the experience to already know, like, wait a second, especially when you've probably been working with the technology right now, probably 8 to 10 years, I'm guessing. So you guys got 8 to 10 years of technology of all the things that the kids know, but you also have how to shoot the scene in the fastest, most efficient way while still telling a brilliantly written story all around, which is,
let me tell you the truth. We have some great crew who are younger than us, very talented, who do exactly that. We shoot with multiple cameras constantly so that we get multiple angles and etc. immediately on the first one. We don't like to waste time, and we don't want to burn out the actors. All right, let's set for this now. And it's the same scene for 7 hours.
Yeah.
In there.
That's killer to do to the actors. I as an actor, and Craig as well, we respect the hell out of actors. But at the same time, they're not the important part of the film. They're one aspect of the film. Our crew is an incredibly important part, and they're one aspect. The caterers, extremely important.
Yeah.
Look, somebody's got to eat.
Somebody's got to eat.
You ever... All right, guys, for lunch today, we got Dunkin' Donuts, and for dinner, we got Dunkin' Donuts.
We don't cut up some bologna sandwiches.
We got Dunkin' Donuts. If you're seeing a theme here and you feel like bringing a sandwich from home.
When we shot The Crumbs, we rented a compound with a huge stone cabin over 100 plus years and all smaller cabins on it. We housed everybody there. It was shot in Placerville, Hangtown up in the Sierra. And we had people there 24/7. So what we did was we hired caterers that would show up early in the morning, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and meals, not just a bunch of, and that's not talking about just all the snacks that we provide and everything else with it. We're really big. We don't ask anybody to work for free as indie filmmakers. It's important to respect people's time and energy. everybody gets paid no matter what, weekly. And it's been a successful formula for us. We don't beg a film. We don't ask anybody, oh, you're going to get IMDb credit and we're going to feed you and you're going to have such a good time.
Yeah.
I'm not into that. If I think you're good enough to be in the film or to work with us, then by golly, you should be paid, fed, transported, and housed.
Right. Yeah. You're gonna. I always like this one. I've heard it before, right? And you've probably heard it before. The same. You'll be paid in exposure. Well, sir, does that exposure come with a blowjob? No? No? All right. Well, then I'm out, buddy. You had me up
mythical
here.
Like a unicorn.
You
Like I was on like a
there.
greasy Pawn
Back to
Stars
Harvey
episode.
Weinstein.
We couldn't come to an agreement there on exactly what the word free meant.
Yeah.
that's
That poor guy. He's getting everything he deserves right now.
Yes, he is.
On trial again for being a nasty guy.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Deservedly so.
Harvey Weinstein.
Oh,
Yeah, he's on
Weinstein.
trial
Yeah.
in Los Angeles right now for another 4 people. So whatever if he can finish his sentence over on the first one, then they will ship his ass over immediately to California to start that sentence for that one. And he's going to be found guilty. Garrett's ball bearings.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like you want the best people up there. You don't want to have to give a massage to a grizzly looking sloth guy like that. Just like you just don't. You shouldn't find your actresses that way. But like, okay, so for example, Meghan Markle was in the news. She was complaining that she felt like she was a bimbo while on the show Deal or No Deal, right? And she said, she said, I felt like I was just a bimbo. And we're the women, if you remember the show, guys, you just hold a case, you look hot, you smile, you open the briefcase when they say the number. Okay, not a lot to it. So I'm thinking to myself, so you gave the money back then, right? Then you gave the money back to the next actress. Right? The next one in line, right? You felt so terrible.
Bimbo number 2, come on down.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so my point is that it's just it's so easy to complain after the fact of how you were feeling. And I'm sure she did feel that way or whatever the hell. But in reality, you took that job off of somebody
she didn't
else.
have to do it.
That's right.
You didn't have to do it. Exactly. She took that job from somebody who wanted to do it, probably more, who would never write a book. Maybe they would write a book called And Then I Felt Like a Bimbo or whatever the hell. But she's married to Prince Harry right now, is deemed to have the #1 podcast. And eventually you're going to say something like that it doesn't really anger me. It's just like,
well, it's self-serving. And
you're the Deal or No Deal girl. It's like being Vanna White and being like, I didn't feel like this was really using me up to my ability. Turning letters for 40 years. It's like, dude, you're letters. What did you want to be? One of the contestants for a night? And then they turn I don't know. I just.
No, I want to address something, especially in this hate culture that we have. And unfortunately, I think it needs to be addressed, especially from a director, writer, owner standpoint. How do you guys feel about Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb ratings, all of these individual sites that happen to do, percentage scores on movies? Would you just encourage somebody just to see the movie and not be like, look, there's this pretentious screen viewers that happen to go through 100 movies a week at least. Right. And they get fed these movies and they're like, oh, well, grease the palm of whatever particular movie that needs to get greased through the percentage line. And then we'll work on these other movies. Mm-hmm. But I've heard different stories. How do you guys feel about that particular those particular sites in general?
Well, for myself, I didn't even know IMDb existed. When I found out, I was like, what the hell is that? And then realizing it's just controlled by who? Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah. I don't pay attention to any of that. I don't even look at mine. I think I have once. That's after I found out it existed. I'm like, what? I've never paid attention to that stuff because I don't chase my ego.
Sure.
I'm not into my self-aggrandization, aggrandizement. That's not me. That's why for me, you like the film, you don't like the film, that's all right. Did you see it?
Yeah.
That's all that counts. I grew up watching movies prolifically, and not all of them did I like, but guess what? They got my money.
Now, David, when you were younger, did you ever ask the question if somebody didn't like something, like, well, why? And then you want the input, and then you want to know why.
Because art is subjective. And people, people have different opinions about different things. I always just say, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. And I leave it alone. Be careful what you ask for.
Yeah, because if they ask for too much, you turn out with them. It turns into the movie Look Who's Talking, and you're like, what the fuck? Who asked for this? Why is John Travolta here? And there's talking babies.
Yeah, you just set yourself up, and you're only looking for compliments anyway, and that to me is so false. I can't handle that, so I don't do that. Craig doesn't.
I'm actually looking up your IMDb right now. By the way,
he's doing it.
Tony's going in.
I'm looking at Fortune Dane, True Believer, Universal something. What it was? Universal Gentrification. Frankenceuticals.
Yeah, I only did that as a favor. Trust me, that was a nightmare working on it. The director didn't have a clue what he was doing, and I was working as an actor, so I sat there in the scene and I said, hey, maybe you want to bring the camera over this way,
It's nice when you have to direct or director.
I stay in my lane. When I'm an actor, I'm an actor.
Yeah.
When I'm a director, I'm a director. And as long as the director's happy with whatever the hell it is, then I'm happy.
Yeah.
So I don't do that. It just doesn't work that way for me.
You always said you could tell a Woody Allen film by everybody talking like Woody Allen.
That's so true.
And once you hear that, it ruins all Woody Allen movies where you're like, oh yeah, he's just
yeah,
the whole thing.
That's a whole nother topic, Woody Allen.
Yeah.
But Sparky does have something on the big board there, Tony. If you wanted to take yourself out of the IMDb and set him up for something nice right there.
No,
Sparky.
I'm looking through Craig's IMDb right now. Stop it.
I thought you were starting up with Craigslist right there. Like
I'm on Craigslist.
Craig's list of achievements. We
actually,
meant to say.
Craig, you have quite the prolific IMDb.
Oh, thanks, Tony.
List. So, anyways, Sparky, what do you have, sir? Is it Loving Quarantine?
No. What happened is I was actually recently put on the Rotten Tomato board, actually.
Oh no.
God, isn't that terrible? It's the worst.
Yeah, I know.
That just sounds like the absolute worst. Were you at a percentage, Sparky?
Look at this.
This is what the percentage was.
The big board Rotten Tomato score.
Oh crap!
Crap!
Look at that. You can see the people that are not having the video right now feed, and for all of our audio listeners out there, there are two stick figures apparently hurling tomatoes at what assumes to be Sparky holding a giant mug. Is that a giant?
I thought
mug
they were just giant zeros. No, they are Rotten Tomatoes.
They're throwing.
That's the big board.
That is your big board. Oh, they're throwing tomatoes at your big board.
Tomatoes at the big board.
That's how Rotten Tomatoes used to work. Am I right, Sparky? That was the first? That was before the internet was invented, right?
That is very true.
Of course, it's always refreshing not to hear a conspiracy theorist on the other end. I always say when the internet was invented, they're like, oh, no, they had the internet since the 1800s. It's like, all right, man, just fuck off with all that, all right? Like, I don't know, and you don't know that shit either.
Well, the internet was used for the Defense Department at the very originality.
I mean, sure, like all of that too. I mean,
1970s.
I can't put a year on it. They didn't use it for stuff that we use it for. Maybe they did. I don't know, man.
I don't know. There was just an article where a guy visited Mars from the future. And he said we've been there for hundreds of years. I have a
lot of questions in school that were never answered either. I raised my hand the one time and it was, I said, well, how do we know what Jupiter looks like in color if we can't actually see it? And the teacher said, that's a great question. And then continued on with the lesson. I'm like, all right, well, and do you have the answer?
She doesn't.
No. She didn't.
Welcome to the public education system. Fantastic.
No, that was private. That was actually a private school down in Baltimore. They
even better. They got paid
teach us
money.
about religion class, and then right after was science. So when we would take the pop quizzes for science, everyone would put down God until they fucking changed that shit around, and then you didn't know what that was. We're kids. What do we know? We're just like we just did the shortcut answer.
That's funny.
Would you guys like to? We're gonna wrap up our show, in great fashion. Of course, we roll out the red carpet to you guys. Would you like to plug anything? Would you like people to watch anything in particular? And where can they watch it? And where can they get a hold of you guys?
Sure. Well, the films again: Demon Fighter, Evil Down the Street, The Crumbs, Love and Quarantine. Tubi TV, certainly YouTube, Indie Rights channel, but we also appear on other channels on YouTube. There's Prime, also Freevee, which is formerly IMDb TV.
That old thing, that old IMDb thing.
Yeah. Meanwhile, back to that. And for David and me, it's real simple that, our names, that's what we have on Facebook. We're accessible. And same for CRA Entertainment, Facebook. We're that's probably the most vibrant platform for us, really.
Yeah, and if you see one of our movies and you like it, please tell everybody. If you don't like it, pretend you never saw it.
But watch it anyway.
Simple.
Yeah, you're totally right on that, David. People like to broadcast what they hate more than what they love. And
Exactly.
Amen, Kevin. Amen.
It's just too much negativity all around.
Yeah.
There you go. You notice I haven't brought up tapioca.
Time for the old folks home. Everyone out. Let's wrap it up, folks.
Nurse.
Nurse. My sponge bath, please.
I need a change, nurse.
I'd love to hear just one of these times somebody open up a door in one of these boxes and scream like, "How did you get in my house?" And somebody in the square get up and take the camera with them and shit.
Grab the lights.
Like, I heard it was tough in
Everybody
California
out.
right now, but holy shit.
Everybody
Thank
out.
you so much. Oh, there it is.
Well, thank you
so
guys
much for
having us.
inviting
This was
us.
a lot of
I
fun.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, you
A lot
guys
of
are an
fun.
absolute delight.
Same
If
here.
you wanted to get in touch with you guys, get in touch with you on Facebook. Sparky, if
Please.
you were going to get in touch with us, how would you do it, sir?
You can get a hold of us on every single major streaming service, including Google, iHeart Radio, Spotify, Spreaker, Deezer, CastBox, Pocket Cast, iTunes.
There you go.
iTunes, yeah.
tried.
The Geo, something about Geo Rio.
Almost
You can
sticking the
find us on
landing on this
Facebook
one.
Live.
Almost.
You can find us on Facebook Live Video, and there's something I'm missing.
Radio.
It's like watching Nancy Kerrigan out of shape. You're like,
Don't forget about Wise Radio. He's the most important one.
Wise Radio. You can find us on
Wise Radio.
Wise Radio. And if you have any comments, complaints at all, you can find us at thepodguyzpodcast@gmail.com. Oh, now you bring the paper into it.
I know.
You had a whole big board there.
Ah, Jesus.
Read off of.
Craig, David, thank you guys very much
Oh,
for
thank
taking
you,
the time
Tony.
out.
Thanks, Kevin.
We
Thanks,
appreciate
Sparky.
it. You guys are amazing. Of course, if you need any platform to throw movies on, of course, we're going to throw it on our Facebook as well
Great.
for them to watch your movies as well. We
you.
will be sending over headshots and scripts and all that other stuff. We have it all developing in our head as well, me and Kevin. Sparky is definitely going to draw it, but we will act it accordingly.
Thank you, Sparky.
Thank you guys very much.
And thank you to your audience.
Thanks.
Appreciate it
Yes,
so much.
Thank you.
Kevin, you do have a show coming up soon?
I do. November 19th, we'll be packing up Club 79 on Blackman Street in Wilkes-Barre. It's gonna be a blast, man. It's gonna be a blast. I gotta pull. I'll be there pulling up a good 35 minutes. I might go longer if possible. $15 gets you in. $5 a drink. Plate of food will cost you an extra $5 on top of that. If you want some food, it will be catered. And
Backers.
it's gonna be a great time though. So we're gonna be there, and then I get some more upcoming crap from that. But let's go one at a time on this one. See how everybody.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
The way
Right
the
on,
way the
guys.
world.
Good night.
I'm
Good night,
Tony
guys.
Kaz
Kevin Neary.
and Le Picasso Sparky. Guys, have a great night. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.